In this video, I want to show you how you can use the selection tools interchangeably to get to the best possible selection. One of the things that's really nice about Photoshop is that you can use the selection tools that you've looked at in the other videos. So the marquee selection tool, the lasso tool, the magic wand, or the quick selection tool. You can flip-flop between all of those and add or subtract two selections using that. Sometimes one selection tool alone is great and gets just what you need, but sometimes selections can be tricky, and so being able to move back and forth between the three of those and adding and subtracting from a selection is a really useful thing when you're trying to edit photos or images. So let's just quickly look at that. I'm going to start by using just the rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to zoom in just in a really simple area of the image just to show you how this works. So if I click and drag, you can see that I get the marching ants that are this rectangular marquee tool. If I hold down the Shift key, you can see that I get a little plus sign. So now if I click and drag, my new selection includes both the original selection and the one that I just made. So you can see that I can hold down Shift and continue to add to that selection. If I hold down the Option key, I get a negative sign, and that negative sign will take away from the selection that I already have. So if I drag like this, you can see that it's starting to take away bits and pieces of that selection. It's probably going to be pretty rare that you have a selection that looks something like this, but you can see how those tools can work together. Now that process of holding down Shift to add or Option to subtract from your selection is universal with all of the selection tools. So if you want to add to a selection, with the magic wand or the quick selection tool, you hold down the Shift key. If you want to subtract from a selection, you hold down the Option key. So you can use that with all of these different tools. So let's go to the lasso tool, and I'll just sort of free draw a selection here. You see I get those kind of marching ants. And let's say for some reason, I'm not quite sure why, I want to delete in this selection these kind of darker green areas that I don't want those to be a part of this selection for some reason. So if I go to my magic wand tool, first of all, what I'm going to look at is the tolerance. So I'm going to put the tolerance pretty low, maybe like 25. And then I also know that I want to subtract from this area any of the little green, dark green spots that are within it. So that means that I need to uncheck contiguous, because if contiguous is checked, it's only going to select the dark green spots that are actually touching each other. So I've got that magic wand tool selected. I'm going to hold down Option, and you'll see I get the magic wand with that minus sign next to it, which means it's subtracting from a selection. And I'm going to click, and you can see that it's subtracted from that selection. So that's just a brief example of how the adding and the subtracting from a selection might work for you.